Welcome back, everybody, to the LCS Challengers League, where we have our last game of the day. What's been a terrific series so far between FlyQuest Challengers and Supernova. Supernova ended up coming back. They had the Wombo combo team comp from minute 1 to the end. Look, it took a while for them to get their beatdown, but they eventually ended up taking home a win and sending us to this game 3.
Yeah, FlyQuest, they were definitely making them work for it just a little bit, but ultimately I think the comp was much easier to execute for Supernova on their side, and I gotta give credit to Shochi. He was finding flank angles, and no matter how much they tried to mark him, his Nico was very impactful in a lot of those team fights.
Yeah, and even in some of those last fights, when Shochi would throw out the Pop Blossom and maybe it wouldn't connect, maybe they didn't find all the important members, they still bought enough. His spacing and his positioning still bought enough time for either Kenvi to have a really good engage after the fact and for Array to clean up afterwards on the Varus. So really, really impactful for him. But we are in Game 3 of Fearless Draft here, beatdown, and unfortunately, that means that Shochi cannot play that Nico in Game 3.
You know what? That's okay. We talked about his champion Ocean, so there's definitely a lot more options he can pull from. But we can actually even take a look just to remind everybody and ourselves what champions aren't available anymore for the rest of this series. And this is kind of where Fearless really starts to get interesting. 10 champs for 2 games, that's not a big deal. But now that 10 champs are eliminated on top of the 5 bans, now people need to start digging just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of powerful picks out there, don't get us wrong.
Sure.
But Game 3 Fearless, we always see a little bit more experimentation, some more wacky counters that might be available. I think of Surdy specifically as somebody who's able to pull some weird stuff out every once in a while and capitalize on a matchup that maybe works out for him. And I mean, taking a look, he won't be able to play the Renekton or the Udyr. I'm looking at Kenvi as well. No Viego, no Wukong, probably no Graves and Kindred either, as those have continuously been banned away from him.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Graves. You're not going to get what you want from them this time around.
I'm still holding out hope.
Maybe.
We'll see.
There's still a lot of strong picks on both sides, so we could. I'm sure we won't see anything too spicy, but hey, maybe we will. In Supernova, this would be a big deal for them to be able to give FlyQuest their first loss. Of course, both of these teams are locked into top 3, but nobody has actually delivered a series loss to FlyQuest Challengers. And Supernova probably have the best chance left after Maryville lost a week or 2 ago.
Yep, it's either them or Mirage Alliance. Mirage Alliance not having the best regular season, so it would be maybe a little bit more difficult for them. And Supernova, hey, they already did the hard part. They took game 1. Now it's do or die, win or lose, kind of just get one game. Basically a best of 1, and you know how crazy those can get if you're a fan of regions like the LCS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a best of 1, but there's like 15 champs you can't play. It's not that important. Don't think about it too much.
All right, well, Supernova over on the blue side this time around. They were on the blue side in game number 2. Ended up working out pretty well for them. We'll see what ends up getting targeted. That Talia, as we said, because of Fearless, Shochi cannot pick that one up, and they do not want Quad or Shaden on that either.
Right, and I'm thinking now, I think Senna's still going to be a high priority ban just because it hasn't been picked up for FlyQuest Challengers yet. And that's kind of like one of the strong bot laners I'm immediately thinking of for both sides. Or rather, from FlyQuest side, that's up left. I'm wondering, oh wow, it is a ban. Surprising.
Okay. Yeah, well, now that could be an option here for FlyQuest. We also see the Kalista taken away. I was wondering if that was going to get locked in early because I know Array pretty comfortable on that champion. And now things start to get weird, right? Because things that were B1'd a lot, things like the Varus, that's no longer a possibility. We'll see what Supernova have up their sleeves.
It
B1
could be
Smolder, that's risky.
It could be a Smolder. I mean, it is a good champion, but you're immediately giving away Senna Nautilus because FlyQuest haven't picked it up yet. Senna wasn't banned, so I'm imagining that's what the 1-2 is probably going to look like. Especially since Smolder isn't available for FlyQuest anymore. But yeah, Hui first pick. That's interesting priority. It is a flex pick. Diamond is, we've seen him willing to play this champion. Shochi has done the same, and it is pretty solid all around. I don't know if I'd B1 it, but that's what they wanted.
I feel like Supernova are allowed to B1 it because of the flexibility that it provides, because Diamond is able to play it. It kind of functions as a flex pick as well as being just a pretty solid champ overall. The response is going to be the Nico. That also could be flex. I think we saw Chime pilot this one at least one
We
time
have, yes.
here for FlyQuest in the support position. So some mid lane flex picks that we have to start this first rotation. Off Shaden going to lock into Viego,
Wow.
the same champion that can be played in game 1.
And a Shaden special, honestly. I know last year, whenever he picked this champion, he was able to do a lot, and I really like the pairing with Nico. You have a lot of burst damage, you have a lot of opportunity to secure that first kill, and that hover is pretty nice. I think, yeah, they can pick Xayah Rakan. They haven't picked the Rakan yet. I think that's a really good bot lane for Array and Diamond. Yeah, you lose the flex potential of the Hui, but I mean, you have a strong 2v2, especially considering what AD carry and support combos are up left, and you have the safety to keep your life a little longer in these team fights. When you're playing into Viego, when you're playing into Nico, that's something you got to think about.
Yeah, Array going to be able to stay a little bit safe this time because he has, of course, that Featherstorm Shaden. Getting the resets is going to be important. It's kind of a little bit of a mix of Game 1 and Game 2 from Supernova's compositions here, Beatdown. You had the Viego in Game 1, the Nico in Game 2. This time, FlyQuest kind of combining the best of both worlds. Going to follow that up with a Nautilus here for Chime.
And I'm curious how they're going to round this one out. I mean, surely the Senna ends up getting banned away during the second rotation, banned by Supernova. And I'm expecting, since jungler hasn't been picked up yet, it's probably going to be a similar focus over towards Kenvi. The Cassante is a pretty good one as well. Safe blind, no longer available to Faisal.
Yeah, a champion that he's very comfortable and is most played coming into the series. Of course, that's now matched by Rumble as he was able to lock it in here. I won't be able to get it in the last series of the regular season for Supernova. Speaking of champions that were played earlier, the Rumble not going to be available here for Surdy.
And the Vi takeaway is a pretty good one there. Kenvi hasn't gotten to play it yet, and it's probably one of the premier junglers that are left at this point for the side of Supernova. And now it's just going to be the last second here. You could ban. Maybe it's the Senna ban. Maybe it's another top lane ban just to set up Faisal for whatever he has to blind. Okay, so it's the Kaisa.
Yep, works well with the Nautilus. Going to prevent Sajed from playing a champion that he played a lot of actually back in the qualifiers when he was on Lit Esports in 2023. So not surprised to see that one taken away. I would expect a match or an 80 carry pick here for Sajed to go alongside the Nautilus before Surdy has an opportunity to counterpick on R5.
Oh, is it the Vayne? Oh, it would be so fun.
Don't play with my emotions like that, Sajed. Oh man.
I don't think this was the angle for it, so I'm glad it ended up being something like the Jinx. You're playing for resets at this point. Jinx, Viego. That first kill is going to be so important for you in this team fight, and you do have a lot of ways to set it up.
Yeah, we talk about resets with Viego, resets with Jinx also going to be big. Get excited. One kill is all you're going to need. You have the Nautilus and the Nico to lock somebody down and allow for that to happen. It'll be a blind pick Renekton here for Faisal, something relatively safe. Hey, we'll say the Kindred and the Graves are both up, although I wouldn't say that those are the strongest picks here in this draft.
It's tough. The Kindred, it could work. I think especially in these team fights, and the Lamb's Respite would be really big when you're responding to these wombo combos.
Okay.
For on the side of FlyQuest, and it is actually going to be the Kindred angle. I mean, this is a big one for Kenvi, and if Supernova were going to get a chance to give FlyQuest their first loss, I mean, it was going to be on this champ for him.
I guess it's a more easy to predict champion that gets locked in compared to the Zed, but I guess I did call it.
You did call it. You did call. I told you. You really need to stop taking that Zed seriously, bro. I was memeing, man. But
no, I'm gonna keep bringing that up every single time.
All right, that's it, man. Just one day, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be doing nothing. It's gonna be like 2 a.m. You're gonna DM me like.
Yep.
Remember that time you predicted Zed?
I've scheduled it already. It's coming out.
I'm going to sleep, bro. Don't worry.
Before we get out of control, we do have to mention that's a Twisted Fate top lane locked in for Surdy, matching up against the Renekton. It's something that we've seen a little bit in some regions. I know in the qualifiers it's been a pick that's been a little bit popular. Getting the range advantage over the Renekton, something that we see a lot. Things like Quinn getting a ton of value, and so for Surdy on the Twisted Fate, I'm assuming a lot of the same things are going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And it really just kind of adds to the burst that you're dealing with here. Pop Blossom comes through. You're really playing for these gold cards, these picks, because you're trying to just kill someone ASAP and then get Diego's first reset. Get your Jinx excited. And that's pretty much what you're playing for this game. Supernova, on the other hand, you're trying to play it nice and slow in the early game, and Kenvi, on this pick, has a chance to really carry, especially with that Lamb's Respite in team fights, and he is going to be really strong if he collects his stacks.
Man, seems like both compositions have very unique and very clear identities. For FlyQuest, get one pick, allow for the resets to come through. Supernova, just a very general, very strong team fight composition. They're going to be able to burst out everybody on this relatively squishy FlyQuest team 100-0 if they play their cards right. It is game number 3 between Supernova and FlyQuest Challengers. You mentioned it earlier, Beatdown. Nobody has been able to take a series off of this FlyQuest team. Supernova looking to get into that exclusive club.
That's right. They may end up being the only members if they make it happen. And maybe FlyQuest will just be able to solidify themselves as the best team, beating Supernova here, keeping that undefeated streak, and just reclaiming that first seed going into playoffs. And I mean, they still have their series against Mirage Alliance tomorrow as well. But even then, if they win today, they will still already have first place away from Maryville.
Yeah, I believe a win here and then a loss to Mirage would at least like tie them in game score with Maryville, and then they have
Maryville,
they have to
head to exactly. Yeah.
So I think FlyQuest are pretty safe as long as they can take care of business against Mirage Alliance, and we'll see if that ends up happening. But for now, it is still us kind of talking about what could be if Supernova are able to take it home.
Yeah, right. And it's a really exciting prospect, especially for Supernova's last match of the split. To be the win against FlyQuest Challengers, it really could be the culmination of the scaling that Shochi talked about to me a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, he's playing the Hui, a champion. Oh, thank God we're in game. Where, you know, if you go even ahead, you got a lot of damage. You got a lot of range to play with here, so you got a lot of ways to threaten players like Shaden, like Sajed, and trying to whittle them down from a distance before someone like Diamond goes in.
Well, here we go. For all the marbles, Supernova here to wrap up their regular season and looking to end on a bit of a high note. They took Game 2 against FlyQuest Challengers. They're going to try to do it here in Game 3. Make sure to spam that chat if you want to root for one team or the other. Once again, we're seeing a lot of Supernova support. FlyQuest got to step up a little bit here.
And of course, for the third and last time tonight, at least for the series, you got to spam in chat, guys. Who got this one? So far, the Supernova fans, they're back out in full force. But, you know, SN for Supernova, FlyC for FlyQuest Challengers, and finally, the Fly fam are coming out in chat. There we go. That's what I like to see.
Do you think any of this has to do with people typing Fly without the C, and then that being maybe a little...
You know,
that those votes not counting. I'm just
non-zero chance. There is a non-zero chance.
Because if I'm rooting for the team, maybe I just type Fly. You know, I'm not thinking about it too much.
And that's how you know they're not listening to the casters. Because I clearly said Fly C. So you know, I don't know. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
If you're not listening to the casters, spam in chat right now.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. They'll all be able to figure it out. We got bottom side starts here for both of these junglers. Kenvi's going to be spotted on the Raptors as he goes to work that up. But it looks like the top lane is where maybe both of these, both Shaden and Kenvi want to focus early because of how volatile this matchup can be.
Oh, I will say the ward is not as deep maybe as you'd hope. Only sees that tiny Raptor, so we saw a ping. So of course, I guess you're constantly checking it. So they do have the info. They know Kenvi just went through there, and Surdy should be expecting a Kindred on the top side of the map in about a minute's time. And so far, things are likely going to be pretty slow in this early game. I'm not expecting really too much action, except maybe in the top side 1v1. So it's really just about for Supernova. Kenvi just wants to farm. He wants to get up there in levels and items, and the hope is that you can just get those stack upgrades there with those hunter marks so that you can get the extra range, get the extra damage in.
Interesting path here from Kenvi. He knows that there might be some vision around the blue buff, so instead he's taking a bit of a creative path around the top side of the map. Faisal has flash and does have an opportunity to go for an engage. Hitting level 3, looking for the
nice
stun,
flash.
but Surdy with a nice flash to follow, making sure that nobody goes down.
Yeah, really good read. Now Shaden is here also.
The wild cards come out. Kenvy's rather chunked. Shaden's going to have the HP advantage for sure. And with top lane pushing in, we see Chime actually going for a reset. He wants to make sure top lane is no fun. He's flashing over the wall. He wants to make sure Faisal has zero fun in this game. But so far, Supernova are alive. There's no wave under the tower. That means that Chime and Shaden have to get away. Shaden gonna get dashed on here by Kenvy. Gonna get the first blood. Kenvy going to be able to pick it up, and they punish the attempted dive there from Shaden.
The crazy thing, this was such a peculiar play from FlyQuest overall. Chime with the level 2 roam could have made this one really impactful with that numbers advantage, but they seemed a little confused about what they wanted to do. No one's really on the same page, and the fact that Kenvy ended up staying instead of just recalling allowed him to pick up that first blood. He didn't have the mark on Shaden, but it's still nice to get that extra gold. And I mean, watch it again. Kenvy is here. And as soon as you see the Herald path come through from Shaden, he's like, oh, well, I guess I can just come back. And Faisal actually plays this one pretty well.
Yeah, dodges the wild cards. A nice buffer with the slice to make sure he does not take a lot of that crowd control. And knowing he has exactly enough HP to dash forward, even see Shochi getting involved with the Severing Bolt. And that's Supernova, off to a good start. And hey, this is the lane where FlyQuest were supposed to punish, and all of a sudden, Kenvy is the one looking for a dive.
You might get at least a little damage here. Oh, he decides he doesn't want that 1v1, which is respectable. There's no actual information that Kenvy is there, but Diamond gets spotted out by the ward. So I think they're just going to hang out and ensure that Faisal can get a touch on the turret, and everyone's just going to walk away.
I mean, an even game state for Faisal right now is a win compared to what we potentially could have seen if things went well for FlyQuest Challengers on that engage. We're back to the grubs now. Kenvy going to be able to pick that up. Even getting one is going to be a big win based on how dominating FlyQuest Challengers are supposed to be with 30 and Shaden on the top side.
Yeah, you just want the one so you can take that first step in denying 5 or 6 grubs, and of course you want it towards your jungle quest as well. So just an easy pickup there for Kenvy, who still has plenty of camps for himself to farm. And again, that first blood onto the Kindred is a really nice feeling. It's not going to change like the entire flow of the game. We haven't seen a mark picked up by this Kindred, for example, too. But every bit of gold helps.
Yep, and getting that kill, getting the grubs, going to be important, as you said. Now maybe the dragon could be a target. Interestingly enough, despite Chime going for that early roam, level 2 on the top side, looks like Sajed and Array still pretty even in farm, so that will not be too much of a difference one way or the other, at least for the time being. And right now it's Kenvy and Shaden both on the bottom side, and we'll see if the bot lane becomes an area of interest, I guess, for both of these teams.
Could happen soon. This first Drake's kind of up for grabs right now, and with that, could just be Shaden going ahead and starting that one right now. Because Sajed spent a lot of time gaining solo XP. Chime is level 3, but Sajed is level 6. So those extra stats feel nice. He has the Super Mega Death Rocket. And there's enough space on this bottom side that Shaden just feels very comfortable going ahead and taking the first Drake of the game.
Yeah, Quad's going to get pushed mid. Make sure that Shochi's unable to join the fight. Jed throws out a zap just to be a little bit nice to his jungler. Shaden grabbing this first Drake of the game. Although we saw, didn't always result in the soul going over. You still got a lot of game left to play if you're Supernova.
100%. And it's nice too because Kenvy gets this opportunity as he clears upward to just grab another grub. Maybe even go for all 3. So there's that opportunity for Supernova to get 6 grubs, or maybe 5 of them, as long as Kenvy's able to walk away. Yeah, it feels good.
Now Surdy walked pretty far. Let's see if Diamond and Shochi can do anything about it. Quad gonna land the Tangle Barbs actually onto Shochi. That's gonna force him to run away. Surdy dashing forward. Gold card not connecting after popping the Ghost. And it looks like nobody's going to end up going down, but crucially Kenvy getting all 3 grubs and now pinging towards the top lane.
And I like this. Faisal, he's trying to stack a wave and get it to crash under the turret, and Kenvy is here just to ensure that Surdy either goes down or just can't interact with this wave. Because Diamond, he's still sticking around. Making 100% sure that Faisal, rather, can get this played.
Gonna get it just yet. They just spotted Chime. Gonna get hit up by the dredge line. Kenby's in a lot of trouble. Has to use the Dance of Arrows to escape. Waiting for one last attempt. The flash gold card comes down. The Kindred stunned up again, but there's no follow-up by FlyQuest, at least for the time being. They're now going to lock up Feisal. He slices and dices and flashes away and make sure that nobody on Supernova goes down.
Oh, it's not actually quad. So, it still costs the flashes of your top side, but right, no one ends up dying in the process here. It will allow Surdy to get a wave into this turret. He may even be able to pick up a turret plate for himself as well. So that is going to get himself a nice little gold lead there on the top side. And those flashes, I mean, it's tough. Kenby needs to be careful when he's not level 6. Just because you can get engaged on, you can get bursted down very quickly when you don't have that Lamb's respite. And now for those next couple of minutes, FlyQuest have an opportunity to make a play on him.
Yeah, well, I wonder how many camps he has until he ends up picking that one up. Not 100% sure. Okay, no, there's the level 6. Kenby should be at least a little bit safer this time around. He also now has one mark. Looking for more. And still in a pretty decent spot, although it's not the explosiveness that we saw out of his Graves yesterday.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, if he can get even half as many kills, he'll still be fine. And any bit of extra farm he gets is going to be nice too. Any extra Hunter's Marks are going to be really important as well. And he's just going to show up mid, not a care in the world, takes all the damage. Wow, he's just like, yeah, I have red buff, guys, it's fine. And he's just going to go to his top side.
Yeah, just a full clear game in here. We're going to slow things down a little bit here, Beatdown. Game 2 went all the way to 40 minutes, even though there was a ton of action back and forth. Seems like now both teams understand the stakes, although maybe not too much in terms of actual standings. Supernova want to prove themselves. They want to make sure that everybody knows that they are a true threat in these NACL playoffs eventually. And whatever FlyQuest would definitely be that statement.
And it's a nice thing, too. Getting this win actually could get you a better seed as well. Going into playoffs. Get you a more favorable first-round matchup. So even if you're not worried about relegation, there's still a lot of impact.
Yep, and now Surdy going to get hit by a lot of damage out of the Supernova top side. That's just too easy. Kenby going to pick that one up, and all of a sudden this Twisted Fate top not looking so hot.
No, he's been under a lot of pressure so far. Kenby playing towards this top side pretty well. I mean, Diamond joining him a lot as well, too. It's very interesting. It's usually top side that often gets neglected, I've seen so far this year. But now it's bot lane that's been pretty isolated, at least in terms of jungle attention.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of go back and forth. I mean, we haven't talked about bot lane like at all this game. It's just they've just been chilling. They're like a wave apart. It doesn't matter. They're ping-ponging back and forth. We know that they're going to be important later. Obviously, any team comp that has a Jinx in it, you're going to revolve around that in terms of team fighting later on. Same with Array and the Zyra Khan lane that they've set up for themselves. But right now, it's all about the top side. And the top side going well for Supernova. They have the opportunity to go for some more grubs, but instead, they're going right towards Surdy again. He goes down for the second time, and Supernova, once again, finding an opportunity, headed right towards the second spawn of grubs.
Dog, Surdy owes the money. That's like the only thing I can think of right now, because they've just decided he gets to have no fun this game. And that's going to be an easy 6 grubs coming through from Supernova. I mean, the 3 assists are coming through from Feisal. He's starting to get up there and a lead as this Renekton. He's going to have a pretty good opportunity to really start doing damage to these turrets. Yeah, that's already... He's currently sitting on 5 grubs. He's able to get an extra turret plate. And that's the 6th one right there.
Hey, I mentioned, Surdy is able to whip out these counter picks every once in a while. I guess this time did not end up working out because TF can get punished so hard, especially in such a long lane like the top lane. Will be the response of his second dragon for FlyQuest, but Supernova are okay with that. They're controlling this top side of the map.
They are, and that's going to be first brick going over to Feisal. This Renekton, he's going to be beefy. And it's really nice, too, because that extra gold, he's going to be hard to kill. So, again, that whole time to kill thing with the Viego Jinx that we talked about is going to be a little more difficult for FlyQuest to deal with. And, of course, you still have Array, who could be a target as well. He has that Featherstorm to protect himself. So these team fights, as long as Feisal is around for the next little while, Grapes, anything Supernova wants to do is probably great.
They can just they have free reign, at least for the next few minutes. They Want to make sure that they're in a position where they're not giving away the soul for free. However, it is Cloud Soul.
Yeah, of course.
While that is important, especially for champions like Chime, not the worst thing to give up if it ends up happening. And now we finally get some attention thrown towards the bottom lane. Kenvi coming in, Diamond forcing a flash at his Jed.
It's nice and easy, and all it cost you was the quickness. And that's going to be really nice too, because I agree. You sack the first 2 Drakes for a buttload of top priority and top pressure. It pays off. Now you get the Jinx Flash 4 minutes before the next Drake starts. So you're going to have an easy time trying to set up for that next objective. And theoretically, FlyQuest, they shouldn't get that soul point.
If the goal remains the way that it does, right? And now is when we have to see some of FlyQuest win conditions start to come alive. Remember, we said it was a bit of a mix of what Supernova were trying to do in Game 1 and 2. They went for the reset pick comp in Game 1. They went for the Wombo reset city in Game 2. We're looking for more of that first side right now for FlyQuest. They need to find some picks. They need to pick up maybe the shutdown onto Kenvi if they're able to single him out. Surdy definitely can get involved still despite him being pretty far behind. Has the Destiny, has the gold cards, always going to be impactful in terms of looking for picks.
Yeah, it's just going to be really tough for him to do anything inside lane. And right now, Faisal doesn't have an answer as a result. So I imagine you can already see it right now. He is bot side at the moment. They're waiting for his TP if Supernova decide to actually contest for this Herald. But it's just going to be really easy for Faisal to throw waves. In fact, he's trying to set up for a play right now if Quad isn't careful.
Yeah, they're looking around. They're hunting. Quad has to be a little bit wary with Faisal always able to maybe chunk down 100-0. I see the Rift Herald available. Supernova probably want to go for this one. They also have the mark for Kindred on the top side scuttle. They're going to be able to pick that one up pretty nicely, and should be a relatively easy objective to take down with that teleport still available for Faisal.
Still, Chime and Shaden, they're here. 30 does have the Destiny. This could be a scrap.
Right. We'll see. Herald at 5,000 HP. Here comes that bolt, going to make sure that Surdy and the rest of FlyQuest get on out of there. Thought that there might have been a chance for an engage, but Chime did not want to risk it, and instead, they're going to pick up the Herald, and now FlyQuest going to try to make a play towards bot lane. Surdy going to pop the Destiny onto Faisal. He already has the Dominus popped. It's in a 2v1 situation.
Nice flash.
Flashes away from the Pop Blossom, and it looks like Faisal has a good opportunity to escape, and he will.
Nicely done there from Faisal. It seemed like the play early on was for FlyQuest to try and bait with Quad, moving towards the mid lane in hopes that Supernova would back off, but they decide the play instead is to do something topside, and Faisal...
he went back in, he tried to clear the wave, and he ended up going down. A little bit unfortunate there, as finally Surdy able to get onto the board, and FlyQuest get their first kill.
Yeah, but it's Supernova. They're the ones pulling FlyQuest challengers all over the map right now. Game 1, it was FlyQuest who were running the map. Game 2, it was kind of back and forth, but this game, it's been all Supernova. They're just making all the right calls this game, and it's resulted in them holding on to this 2,000 gold lead that we're seeing. And now that Drake...
Yeah, I was just going to say, luckily the Drake not going to be impacted by Faisal's death as we see here. And a really nice escape as well, flashing away from that Pop Blossom.
Right, and honestly, he played this well. It was a pretty big wave that he was giving up, and I guess he just decided that either Quad was gone, or he's like, I'm the GOAT. I can outplay this. And he didn't get the healing from the Call of the Meek that he was hoping for. His Rage Bar was full, but had he done it with and actually damaged 30 with it, maybe he would.
Yeah,
but
he gets the wave, and then power doesn't go down, so it's like a small win in that way, even though he ends up going down for it. But
that's true, yeah. Right now, Drake is what we're setting our sights on. Oh my god.
Oh wow, Kenvi playing so aggressive, able to dash away from the dredge line as well. The Cloud Drake has spawned Supernova. Actually, on the backside, it's FlyQuest. Had the inner workings to the pit, but with Supernova going to push another mid wave. Looks like FlyQuest have to go back to safety for now. Kenvi still playing so far forward. And Quad looking to try to find some skill shot to land on him, but he's just not finding it just yet.
Yeah, he's feeling... He is really strong at the moment there. He actually has a good bit of a good bit more AD than Shaden with that Caulfield's coming through. And Supernova, they're strong enough that they can just go ahead and start this Drake. FlyQuest has to let this one go and hope that they can get the next one as their sole point.
Oh, Rocket.
Ooh.
Comes in, doesn't find anything. Quad The Nico clone doesn't do a lot of damage, so they're not going to be able to get anything off of that. So it's just the dragon answered back for Supernova. You're going to take that. You're going to want to make sure that FlyQuest don't have the opportunity to just pick up a really quick soul for free.
Right, so they stall the soul stacking for FlyQuest Challengers, but it's not the end of the world. FlyQuest, they still have a very clear win con to play for. We haven't seen them really go for that full-on 5v5 yet, but much like Shochi was able to set up great fights, Quad can do the same with the Nico in this game. And again, this comp, it just needs that one kill Graves. Kenvi, Array, their ults both are really good at denying that first kill from going through, allowing them to extend their lives further. But if that doesn't work, FlyQuest will win.
Yeah, one mistake, kind of all that it takes. If Kenvi gets CC locked, if Array is unable to press any of his buttons before going down, that's all they need. But right now it's Kenvi in a really good spot. It's down to about half HP, but not before forcing Quad back to base.
And I like that we're seeing Kenvi cover Faisal a lot this game. He's so strong on this Renekton, so covering him, pressuring laners, trying to match him, I think it's really nice to give him space to just keep knocking down structures and have him be the side lane monster that he's become in this early game. Now that Turret Gold means, once he backs, he's going to get that second item coming through, and he's way ahead of Surdy at the moment.
Yeah, still in a really good position to just match any of the side lanes. Teleport not available just yet here for Faisal, but looks like he's going to be okay. There's no major objectives that are going to spawn. Supernova are ahead, not ahead enough to start the Baron straight up at 20 minutes. And so you're okay with kind of keeping Faisal down here, forcing Quad to match, and playing around the rest of the map with players, some champions that are very, very strong at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, starting the Baron early is really dangerous, even with double marksman, even with Faisal, who is technically able to tank it up, just because you don't want to take all that damage and make it easier for FlyQuest to get that first kill. So it's just set up what vision you can. You're playing for marks, you're playing for drakes, and unless some incredibly juicy play presents itself, you're kind of chilling until Array and Kenvi get their second item.
We're getting closer to that stage. I think it's Collector potentially
I think Kenvi
in
has it, yeah.
here for Kenvi. Maybe we're waiting for the Essence Reaver as well for Array, or maybe something else. The Quick Blade's also an option.
Yeah, it's probably
There's a Collector, so smart execute damage, and again, we mentioned if you could kill the Viego early, if Shaden goes a little bit too far forward, getting that little bit of extra burst is going to be important to make sure the composition for FlyQuest doesn't work the way that it wants to. Look at that. Shaden's like a full item behind her. I'm just finally realizing that Kenvi super strong in this game, and he knows it. Look how aggressive he's playing, even with Chime throwing hooks at him.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I mean, he's been sitting on the Lamb's Respite this whole time as well, so there's really not a whole lot for him to worry about. And you can see on this topside jungle, like Supernova, they have vision in all the right spots. So it's going to be an easy mark. Shaden wants to try and do something, but I don't think he can actually do it. Kenvi doesn't even need to use Smite to take it.
And Hui damage as well, chunking Chime out. Supernova dominating here in this mid lane push. Look for a siege here on the tier 1 turret with Faisal on a flank. He's Shaden hovering around the mist. Chime over the wall has the opportunity to engage with the flash if he finds the right opportunity. He's going to look for it. There he goes on to Shochi. He has to use the flash in response, but Kenvi is immediately bursted down. Sajed picks up the kill, and all of a sudden the Jinx is excited. Shaden did not land the stun. Here in comes Diamond with a quickness, unable to find anything. Spiraling Despair, only landing on the Chime. There goes Quad. There goes FlyQuest. They make it a 1-for-1 though as the Jet goes down. Faisal's ticking with the Ignite. He will be able to survive until Surdy arrives with the red card. He flashes forward and picks up another one, making it a 3-for-1 trade.
Holy crap! I mean, exactly what needed to happen did.
Oh no, Ray.
My God.
He got locked in again. Surdy finds the engage as well. Array trying to outplay it, gets 2 kills before falling.
But it still ends up being the ace in favor of FlyQuest Challengers, and they managed to half the gold lead that Supernova have gotten for themselves. And I mean, we gotta watch this one. Shochi gets stunned up, but what really matters here is the insta-kill on to Kenvi. He doesn't have any time to pop the Lamb's Respite. Even though Shaded wasn't part of the kill, he's so ahead. He is so much of their damage. So Sajed feels good about flashing forward and getting more kills.
And even though it does go down, it does allow for Shochi to fall, and then Surdy flashing in here with the red card after the Destiny. Whoa, look at the picture-in-picture. Kenvi just came back and wanted revenge. He ended up taking down Surdy in a 1v1. But again, taking a look at this replay as well, Array going wild.
Yeah, it was definitely nice because it ended up preventing FlyQuest from having an easy time picking up this next Drake. So Supernova will actually be able to get their second Drake. Stacking Cloud Drakes for this comp honestly feels pretty good. The Cloud Drake will give you the, I believe it's out of combat movement speed and slow resist. The out of combat movement speed, of course, being the really nice part of it. So it will make it easier for you to move around the map, set up for the fights that you want. And of course, if you get the soul, we all know how good that is.
Yeah, moving fast, somehow, shocker, good thing to do in League of Legends.
I know, it's just so crazy.
Especially if you're pretty far ahead as well, being able to rotate across the different lanes, get the advantages when you can. Quad's a minion. Oh, he's locked up. Array!
Press tab!
He did not count to 7, and he ends up falling. A big shutdown going the way of Quad right as the Baron is available. Shochi now getting targeted as well. Depth charge lands on top of Lamb's Respite. Going to save the mid laner for now, and here comes Diamond with the quickness. Spiraling Despair does a lot of damage. Shochi able to make it a 1-for-1 as Chime falls. Faisal popping the Dominus, looking to get onto Surdy, does not have the flash to close the gap. It is just the 1-for-1, but the 80 carry for Supernova is down for the count.
That's a really great catch-out coming through here. The fact that they were able to pick off Chime is what prevents this from being a barren start from the side of FlyQuest Challengers. So at least now, Faisal is here. He's trying to slow down Shaden and Quad and make it so that they can't stop this mid-tier 1 turret from going down. So Supernova, they'll still get something else on this and come out ahead when it comes to gold. And they actually, look at Faisal, I think they are covering this tier 2 as well.
They're going to try to spot out Shaden on a potential flank. Surdy using the Destiny to get behind the Croc and firing in the cards. Gold card coming out. There's no leg left this time, so it will be Faisal going down. It'll be traded though as Surdy will fall as well. Shaden will go down in the Renekton body as Kenvi makes it a 2-for-1.
Wow, even with a reset, Shaden and Surdy still end up going down. Supernova come out ahead. They weren't able to finish the mid-tier 2 turret, but it's still a nice extra bit of gold. And this is just kind of goes to show you how far ahead Faisal really is. He soaks up so much damage before he ends up going down, and it makes enough time and space for members like Kenvi and Array to just get an insane amount of damage down. And they're able to avoid Sajed before he could get any more kills.
And both marksmen for Supernova playing great in that last fight. Array with some crucial blade callers that ended up locking down Shaden before he could end up really popping off, and Kenvi with a nice flash over the wall to save his life as well. If any of them went down, all of a sudden things get very scary with Shaden picking up another reset, but Supernova able to keep their advantage for now. And things are starting to get a little bit hairy, Pete. We're starting to get closer to that late game, but we're still in a good spot for Kenvi and the rest of Supernova.
Yeah, and you can see it. They still have some aggressive vision placed into FlyQuest topside jungle. It's not exactly where they'd want it to be, but it's enough that FlyQuest have to tread carefully. And Supernova still have that favorable pressure over the Baron. Remember, FlyQuest, they've never lost a series before, and Supernova looking like they may be one of the closest teams since Maryville 2 weeks ago to be able to actually deliver them a series loss. And Kenvi, he's level 15 right now, 2 levels ahead of Shaden, and he's pretty close to getting that rank 3 ultimate. Honestly, drastically reduces the cooldown. It does mean he'll have it more often.
Gonna help make sure that both teams, they have the ability to go in and start the fights whenever they want. Supernova getting cut off a little bit. There comes the hook. It lands on a Faisal, and he pops the Dominus to stay alive. Unstoppable use by Shaden to escape, and now Faisal marking Quad here on the flank. Pop Blossom comes out, unable to find a target, and that's a really nice disengage coming out from Supernova.
Right, nobody ends up falling, but it's just a bunch of ults traded back and forth. I think the most important thing for me is that Array and Kenvi, the 2 most important ults on Supernova's side, they still have them. So this next fight is actually really hard for FlyQuest Challengers, and I think Supernova recognized this. They're just going to go straight for the Baron.
Shochi doesn't have his ult, neither does Diamond or Faisal, but Supernova still feeling confident because they have the 2 pieces to keep their carries alive. They're at the Baron right now. It's at 12,000 HP. Quad does not have that Pop Blossom makes it very hard for Fly to go in. Here comes Chime. He gets stunned up. He gets hooked in, and Kenvi will be on a killing spree right now. Surdy and Quad now have to run away. Kenvi getting chunked a little bit, has to be careful. Don't want to get caught out by any poke. Diamond goes in, but Surdy with a nice flash makes it a trade. 1 for 1 once again. Both supports are down. Super Death Rocket comes out. The health bars are low, but nobody's going down. Kenvi gets another one, but he'll be traded with his life. Lamb's Respite still crucially up before he went down, and that means FlyQuest can head towards the Dragon.
That could have been the difference maker. He pops that ult. Supernova could get this Drake, but instead FlyQuest, they're going to get first touch. They're going to burst it down pretty quickly. Shaden has smite.
Faisal has ult again, though. They have to be careful. Array doing a ton of damage with the Feathers. Featherstorm comes out, already getting the kill. Shaden gets the Drake, but at what cost? 2 members of FlyQuest go down. Sajed getting hit up by that little missile and might be in a lot of trouble as well. Shochi doing a terrific job to poke. Faisal looking to attack the Jinx without any summoner spells. Doing a lot of damage, but not enough. Shutdown going the way of Shochi.
And as long as they get the backs finished here, watch her Chime.
Oh, wow. They're going in on the time, and all of a sudden, here comes a teleport from Quad. Supernova, yeah. They've overstayed their welcome, and it's going to cost the Crocodile his life.
Still, there is an angle for the Baron here. You still have a little bit before Sajed comes back from this death. It's 30 seconds, but it's looking like Supernova. They don't actually want to try and mess with that. They're just going to go back, clear their camps, and try again in the next one. It's a really big teleport from Quad, because had he not done that and those recalls go through, that's definitely a Baron start.
Yeah, that's a big TP from Quad, keeping FlyQuest in a pretty good spot in this game. The lead has continued to go up for Supernova. They can smell the potential at being the first team to take FlyQuest Challengers down in this regular season. But they still have a lot of work to do. They have 2 Dragons, only need to FlyQuest 3, that Cloud Soul spawning in 3.5 minutes, and any mistake, if Kenvi or Array don't press their alt button in time, and Array doesn't have his right here, that could mean the Baron going over.
Right now, things kind of gone back to a bit of a quieter state. Shochi can be trying to clear out vision around this Baron buff. Right now, they've been mostly maintaining vision rather dominantly on this top side. They haven't really gone for a full Baron take yet. It's just been a Baron take into a fight. But right now, Kenvi's ticked over to level 16. Array is about to do the same.
Gets tagged by the gold card. Nice block from Faisal to keep his jungler alive. Spiraling Despair comes out on the Shaden. That forces him to use the Heartbreaker already. Nobody going down. Faisal's health bar is low. Remember, he does not have teleport, which means he cannot rejoin a potential fight. Supernova going to reset right now. FlyQuest maybe have the opportunity to punish.
They're likely not going to be able to do very much about it. Shaden was forced to ult away. He's going back to doing his camps to heal. But right now, FlyQuest don't even feel confident enough to do pressure on this mid lane. So Faisal should have enough time to walk back and join the fight. He won't have the dominance, but this is still a pretty good situation for Supernova. They still have their crucial ults available, and they're just going to go ahead and start this up. They're probably looking to turn.
Yep, Surdy has the Destiny. Will be able to get full vision over Supernova if they want to know when the Baron goes down. It's at 4,000 HP. No attempt for an engage or a steal, but in comes Quad. Pop Blossom comes through.
Secures it.
Kenvi secures the Baron. He pops the Lance Respite before going down. Shaden is really stuck in a bad spot. Has to flash over the wall. All of a sudden, we are playing on opposite sides of the map. It's Australian mode here, and Surdy likes that. He's going in onto Shochi. A hook lands onto Array. He's forced to cleanse away. He uses the Blade Caller to try and zone things out. But right now, Supernova, the health bars are low. Kenvi's already escaped, and the rest of Supernova just have the goal of trying to get on out of there. Dominus has been popped. Shochi looking to rejoin the fight. We are still brawling things out, and nobody has died on either side. Depth charge lands. Shochi,
they got him!
Hooked. He goes down. Now Sajed is excited. He's picking up kill after kill. It's another one going over to FlyQuest Challengers as Faisal will rejoin the fight. It's a 2v3 with Kenvi on the way. Numbers are even for now, and it looks like both sides are going to back off.
Holy crap, what a fight, Graves. At this point now, FlyQuest, they have to walk back to their tier 2 the long way as Array and Faisal are trying to escort this next wave. Neither of them have ults, but they do have the Baron buff to play with, so it should be pretty easy for them to secure this one. 30, he's flirting with the gold card, but it shouldn't matter, especially now that Kenvi is here. And you know what else is here in 50 seconds, Graves? It is that Cloud Drake. It could be FlyQuest Soul. Could be the sole point for Supernova.
Man, if we get back-to-back games with 7 dragons being taken down, what a way to cap off Supernova's regular season. FlyQuest still have some ways to go. They have another series after this, but being able to take down Supernova, a very competitive team, would be a bit of a statement. It would be a statement for either of these teams, if you do say so. Right now, Array looking really, really strong. Has 3.5 items. Kenvi has 4. Supernova's going to do a lot of damage in this team fight.
And they absolutely are. We're seeing level 16s come through. Oh, Diamond?
Ooh, Diamond finds the engage on the quad. Didn't even use the quickness. Now he uses it as well. Quad uses the Pop Blossom, but it is just too late. A crucial target down here for FlyQuest Challengers. And now Supernova are knocking on the door of the base.
And that's just so impressive. Like, just the snap engage coming through here. The instant recognition that, guys, this is a play. And the fact now they get that numbers advantage. They knock down another turret. And it's going to be Kenvi soloing the Drake while they make whatever use they can out of the rest of this Baron buff. Supernova, 6K up. They are one fight away from doing what no other team in this league could do, and that's give FlyQuest a series loss.
They have one more wave of Baroned up minions to try and take an inhibitor tower down. It looks like they'll be able to do so here in the mid lane. An inhibitor will also fall. No major objectives for the next few minutes, but there will be super minions crashing into FlyQuest base for the next Baron and for that crucial 7th dragon.
And there's only so much more you can do when it comes to items. We're getting to that point in the game. You can hear that sound. It is elixir time.
Yep.
Both of these teams know that we are in one fight territory. All it's going to take is one clean fight for really either side to decide how this game is going to end. So now you're just trying to finish up whatever items you can as either side and spend that gold. Get as many stats as you can for this next Drake fight.
We're still a little bit ways away, right? We still got like 3.5 minutes. We got Baron in 2.5, but everyone knows one little mistake. That could be a big shift of momentum. It could help FlyQuest get back in. It could cost FlyQuest the game if they are the ones to get caught out. Look at items once again. Interesting to note, Kenvi picking up the Elixir of Iron, so he doesn't even care about the damage that he's going to be able to do. He knows he does enough of it. He just wants to stay alive. Make sure he's tanky enough to press that R button to keep himself safe.
Yeah, 100%, and it's a good decision. Even if Supernova don't make it happen, it's what an impressive series we've seen from this squad, really taking it to what we consider our #1 team. And FlyQuest currently 7-0. They're looking to make it 8. And Supernova might actually give them their first loss. Kenvi, a player we talked about earlier, who surprised everyone, excited everyone in the Tier 2 scene and the Tier 3 scene, and just wasn't able to make it work in the LCS. But now he's coming back for that redemption, like players we've seen in the past these last couple of years. And he's looked so good. And what a cap it would be, Graves, if him and the rest of Supernova are able to finish their split, beating FlyQuest Challengers.
Yeah, and it would be huge for Kenvi, right? He's been at the top of Tier 2, Tier 3 for so long, and wants another opportunity to prove that the path to pro can come right back towards him. I mean, he's the main character of this game. Absolutely. He had a great early game. Has 4 full items, and now that Elixir already completed. Basically, if Supernova win or lose, a large part of it is going to be due to him, whether it's taking down objectives, landing crucial smites, or just being one of the strongest champions in this entire game.
Yeah, level 17, almost max level. And he's getting to a point where he's not going to really buy any items that change anything at this point. He's just trying to get that XP so he can get to level 18, and there it is. He's ticked over. The teleports are coming through. Grapes, this one is likely going to be it. It's either a fight here or it's going to be a fight at the Baron. But Supernova want to decide this game soon.
They find Shaden over the wall. Kenvi and Diamond are looking, but Shaden does have the flash, so he's able to escape. That is a crucial summoner spell. Jungler, no flash. That does limit FlyQuest's options in terms of what they can do around these major objectives. They're hunting for something. Supernova looking for an opportunity to catch someone out of position, but not able to find it just yet. FlyQuest grouping up well. Baron is about to spawn. Supernova going right towards it.
You can see it, Quad. He is camouflaged as a minion right now. Supernova, this is the 3rd time now they're starting the Baron. They're looking like they're ready to turn. They do so much damage, though.
Oh,
they
wow.
could just
It's just going to get bursted down. Oh, with 1 HP,
Whoa.
it's Array ending up securing it. Kenvi unable to get the smite, but Supernova controlling it nonetheless. Quad over the wall, finds a 2-man pop blossom. Kenvi pops the Lamb's Respite just in time. He dashes right in the last range of the circle to make sure he does not go down. Supernova just barely get that Baron, man.
But they make it happen, and nobody dies in the process. God, that is the lowest health turret I've ever seen. Jesus Christ. You just spit on it, and that teleport would have been canceled. 18 health. My God. But it ends up working out because you want it back, spend your gold, and set up for this Drake. This is your Cloud Soul, no matter who ends up picking it up. But it's Supernova just miles ahead of FlyQuest Challengers this game. Setting up a brush play, it looks like.
Yeah, Shaden, remember, doesn't have flash, so has to be very, very cautious whenever he walks around even his own jungle. You know, I said it last time, it's like the Game 7, but Supernova enough control that maybe FlyQuest are okay with giving this Cloud Soul away, making one last defense around their base, because they know if they mess up around the Dragon, that's the series. Their game's over.
It's tough, though, because Quad's about to get his ult back up, and Kenvi used his. So this is going to be one of the best chances you're going to get when that Lamb's Respite is on cooldown. But the goal difference is too much for FlyQuest, so they aren't going to risk it. You're right. And instead, they're just going to try and hold down the fort in their base, delay this inhibitor turret from falling, because it will fall. And it's just going to be able to knock down this mid and bot inhib.
Yep. The inhibitors haven't gone down just yet. Finally, mid will be targeted. Array hitting away at the one down bottom. Chime hooks onto the wall. That might be a signal for Supernova to go in. Chime's instantly deleted. The Steric shield on the Faisal is big, preventing him from going down. That's the second inhibitor, and a massive wave is getting sent right into the base of FlyQuest Challengers.
This is close, Graves. But
there's
the
a
damage
nice
is there. I think they're going to do it.
Going to go down. Kenvi flashing forward, and that's going to do it. They said it couldn't be done. They said FlyQuest was the #1 team, but Supernova just proved them all wrong. They give FlyQuest their first loss of the regular season and will jump up to a 7-2 record to end their Challengers League split.
Reeps, we thought it was unthinkable. We thought it was impossible, but Supernova made it happen, and we're going to watch this last fight again. And really, at this point, you just have to close it out. You are so strong on the map. You need your first kill to come through, and it ended up being Chime. But you could see it. How strong Array is, how strong Kenvi was basically this entire game. There was no way FlyQuest were going to be able to make this one happen. And it's just such an impressive series from Supernova as a whole. Just to see how far they've come since the beginning of the split. Some of these players who are getting second chances after being in the LCS, players who are a little newer and trying to make their way up there for the first time. Beating a team like FlyQuest Challenger, who we thought it just couldn't be done.
Well, we proved that it could be done here as Supernova. They were scaling. Yeah. Remember beatdown. That's what you brought up at the top of this series. Shochi said this team was ready to go, and they did end up delivering. I'm super excited for this Supernova team as we head towards the NACL playoffs. We're gonna get to talk to one of the players here on Supernova as well. We're gonna head to a short break. We'll be right back with our last interview of the night.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Welcome back to the LCS
Hello.
Challengers League, where we're here with our Rally Cry post-game interview, joined by Kenvi, jungler for Supernova, who had a terrific 2-1 win over FlyQuest, giving them their first loss of the regular season. Kenvi, how did it feel to take down a team that everyone was saying that, hey, they're number one, but now you guys proved them wrong?
I feel kind of happy because we can beat them, and I think they are like one of the good teams in NACL, and like we can crush them easily. So I feel good. I feel excited for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been great watching you this split can be on Supernova. It really feels like going back to what we saw from you before you went to the LCS. Carry jungle, a lot of great performances. What's your experience been like on Supernova? Like, how has it been playing with them as an org? What's your experience?
Oh, I think Supernova is like a good people like staffs, coach, like managers. I think the players are kind of fun to play with. I think they're pretty funny, and everyone has had good vibes, and everyone learn pretty fast, which is pretty good.
Yeah, you got a good mix of some experienced players like you and Diamond, and Array even's been around for a while, and then Shochi and Faisal, who've also kind of come up relatively quickly. I mean, what's it like being one of the more experienced players on a team like this, and kind of leading these guys up to the top of the NACL standings?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Oh yeah, just what's it been like being kind of one of the more experienced players on this team?
I think I kind of feel like the team want to play around like macro, and like I think, and I mean we do like a good in scrims, and I think we learn a lot from that, and I just keep calling what I want to do, and the team play around it, which is good. Yeah.
So Shoji was telling me before a couple weeks ago how much he's enjoyed working with ZZ, your coach. Can you talk about your experience with him as well, and what it's been like working with him?
Well, I think Shoji is of course, number one, he's a funny guy, and number two, I think I like him because he can play any champ. Like he's done to play any champ, and I think he's done to learn it, and I think which is pretty good for the team. And he plays around me as well, so I like it a lot.
All right, well, Kenvi, congratulations on the win. Must feel good finishing off the regular season with a really impressive victory, and we're really excited to see you participate in the playoffs, as you guys are going to be a really powerful force. Before we let you go, you have any shout-outs? Anyone you want to give some love to before we wrap up?
It's just like, thank you for people still following me, and still supporting me. I'm pretty. What is that? I'm pretty. I'm gonna say the word. I'm pretty happy for that. I guess I just forgot the word, but yeah. Thank you so much for the fans.
Yeah. Thank you to you, Kenvi. I know there's a lot of fans out there rooting for you and for your success throughout the rest of this split and beyond. So best of luck in the playoffs, and we'll see you next time here on the NACL. Let's go wrap up this show real quick, Beatdown, as we have just a couple more things left to do. Two very exciting series that had some very important implications on what things are going to look like as we head into our final day of the NACL regular season. We have the standings that we can pull up just to update everybody on what is going on, and we have locked in our playoff teams and also which teams are going to be headed into the promotion tournament.
Yeah, and of course the big takeaways are that is it for the bottom two. Lit Esports and Mirage Alliance are going to be the teams we send to the promotion tournament, who have to play against some of the top qualifier teams to make it back to NACL Summer. Of course, Supernova, now 7-2, are in a pretty good spot as well, still holding on to that top 3 slot. That's got to feel pretty good. And because FlyQuest lost the series, Maryville have a decent chance at holding on to first place, depending on how tomorrow's match goes.
Yep, some interesting things to note as well. Our next two matchups are, of course, FlyQuest Challengers against Mirage Alliance, as well as AoE versus Disguise, which is going to be a very wild battle to get into the seeding nitty-gritty as well. If AoE win, apparently they jump up to 4th seed. If they lose, they're down at 8th. And that makes a big difference in terms of who your opponent is in that first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of insane to think about how your opponent could end up being someone like Cincinnati Fear or Maryville University. So, AoE, no pressure. That's all I got to say. Yeah,
one more series. I mean, AoE's been looking good. The reason they can jump up to 4th is because they played a lot of competitive best of 3s and have a very good game record out of the teams that are kind of situated at that 3 and 5 record.
The clump, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. But that's going to do it for our show here today on the LCS Challengers League. Once again, thank you to everybody for letting me step in. It was a great time. We had some pretty competitive series beat down, and I'm super excited about that.
Me too. And I mean, it's tradition. Even though we don't do the whole flex roll thing anymore, the guest, you got to thank yourself. So, I want to pat yourself on the back. Come on.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. Thankful to be here, and we are super excited for the last day of the NACL regular season. Make sure to tune in once again after LCS tomorrow. Things might get a little bit wonky because of those tiebreakers, but we'll be right here for that final day of games. We're going to be rating Dokla, so make sure you stay tuned and give him some love. Big shout out to everybody on our production crew as well as you, Beatdown. We'll be right back tomorrow here with more NACL. Have a good night, everyone.